Meghan Markle has unfairly got a reputation for being a bit of a diva, but royal insiders say she's only ever made one demand. Don't leave her alone with Prince Andrew.
Say Miss Meghan Markle is on the American program Suits.
Yes, Wednesdays, 8 p.m, USA Network.
The only difference between that show and this is people watch this one.
Authentically, organically want to share. I go back to the authenticity, right? It's what I love and it's what I want to share. I wanted to do what felt authentic, but also to be authentic.
You're a cold-hearted woman.
For someone who constantly talks about wanting privacy, Meghan Markle somehow stays right in the spotlight every single time. Cameras roll, interviews drop, podcasts launch, documentaries appear, and somehow the silence she says she wants never actually happens. Every appearance feels carefully staged, every moment polished, every story adjusted just enough to reshape the narrative in her favor. Critics say the pattern is obvious. Remove the uncomfortable parts, soften the messy details, and present a version that looks flawless on the surface, while questions keep piling up behind the scenes.
Harry and Meghan are leaving the palace to become financially independent. And you see, this is what happens when you bring the first black woman into the royal family. Yeah. She looked at Harry and she's like, "Nigga, you need to get a job. You need a job. You a grown-ass man. You can't still be living in your mama's house, Harry."
People online keep saying she controls the story too tightly, rewriting events and quietly pushing aside anything that challenges her image. When comedian Jimmy Carr stepped in with his brutal commentary, he didn't hold back at all. He called her the fakest feminist alive, and that line spread everywhere because it captured what many viewers were already thinking. The frustration comes from hearing constant talk about my truth and my struggle, while critics claim accountability never enters the conversation.
I've already settled it for myself, so flattery and criticism go down the same drain. Nothing negative about being a feminist. It's not the F word.
Meghan Markle is, of course, a lifelong feminist, which she's demonstrated by marrying a prince and giving up her job.
Viewers aren't rejecting vulnerability. They're reacting to what feels like selective honesty, and that difference hits hard. And honestly, that moment was only the opening act. Carr didn't just poke fun. He dismantled the carefully built royal celebrity brand surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan piece by piece. He turned the spotlight away from sympathy and aimed it directly at contradictions people had been whispering about for years. Suddenly, the polished image looked less like authenticity and more like marketing strategy, and audiences noticed fast. The laughter came with shock, because sometimes comedy lands hardest when it feels uncomfortably close to reality.
My friends have to read those things. Like, I have real best friends, the same ones since I was 17.
Really?
You know, like, I'm a real mom. I choose to go and do school pickup and drop off, but I do that under a landscape that is created that forgets that I'm a real person. My kids will see those magazines, and we all know moms gossip.
She is a malignant narcissist who cannot get enough of herself while she simultaneously plays the victim.
No, you're not a fucking victim. What are you talking about?
Harry often says he stepped away from royal life to escape pressure, control, and endless scrutiny. According to him, palace rules felt suffocating and media attention never stopped. Yet critics argue that freedom didn't look like freedom at all. It looked like rebranding. Instead of royal protocol, they see production crews, streaming deals, curated interviews, and a lifestyle managed for global audiences. The comparison became unavoidable, leaving Buckingham Palace only to settle into a highly produced life in Montecito, surrounded by cameras, branding strategies, and constant storytelling.
June, Harry, the ginger, formerly known as Prince, became the first British royal to give evidence in court for 130 years. It's disgusting the way the press have tried to manipulate, gaslight, and control Harry. I mean, who do they think they are? Meghan?
What really confuses people is this: if royal life was something he wanted to escape, why does it remain the center of nearly every public appearance? The royal past keeps coming back as the headline, the selling point, the emotional hook. Critics say it starts to feel less like healing and more like repetition, as if the story never moves forward. Over time, sympathy turns into impatience because audiences relate to struggle, but also expect growth.
Well, you never stood a fucking chance, did you?
Prince William or Prince Harry?
Prince William or Prince Harry? Well, the royal family, right, if you can imagine, they're like our Kardashians. Prince Harry is very much our Kanye. He occasionally dresses as a Nazi, and he fucked up.
At a certain point, viewers stop feeling sorry and start feeling worn out. Many people face hardship without global platforms, best-selling memoirs, or streaming specials to explain their pain. The public reaction grows louder. Everyone struggles, everyone carries something heavy, and resilience isn't exclusive to royalty. That contrast between personal hardship and global privilege is what keeps the debate alive and the conversation heated.
Harry's a fucking twat. I do. I think he's a fucking twat. He's a whining, whinging, complaining, woe is me, I'm the only one that's ever had mental problems.
Behind all the headlines, something else started happening. People began noticing the pattern. Every interview felt bigger than the last. Every story more emotional. Every reveal timed perfectly to keep attention locked in. Critics weren't just reacting to what was said anymore. They were watching how it was said. The pauses, the carefully chosen words, the dramatic tone. It all looked less spontaneous and more like a performance designed to control the narrative. Supporters called it bravery, while skeptics called it strategy, and that clash turned the public conversation into a non-stop debate that refuses to cool down.
You've been handed the world and every major contract, you had podcasts, you have all of this, and you didn't deliver because
there's nothing to deliver.
Yeah, because you don't have it, and that's okay. And I think they do have a right to privacy, but that doesn't seem to me what they're looking for.
Social media only poured gasoline on the discussion. Clips went viral overnight, reactions exploded, and suddenly everyone had an opinion about authenticity, fame, and victimhood in the modern celebrity world. Some viewers felt inspired, others rolled their eyes, but nobody ignored it. And that might be the real secret behind the entire situation. Attention became the currency, controversy became the engine, and silence became impossible when every appearance sparked another wave of discussion. Whether people watched out of support or curiosity, one thing became clear. The story wasn't fading away anytime soon, and the audience was still waiting for the next shocking twist to drop.
Everybody's fucking life is hard.
Yeah,
you were
true.
the prince of
That's
a
true.
goddamn country who dressed up as a fucking Nazi, and now you're trying to come back as the Pope?
When Kelly Osbourne shared her opinion, it added fuel to an already loud conversation. But the real spectacle wasn't finished yet. The spotlight swung right back to comedian Jimmy Carr, who kept pushing harder, sharper, and louder with his commentary about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. His jokes didn't just land as comedy, they landed like accusations wrapped in punchlines, and audiences couldn't look away from the chaos unfolding. Carr zeroed in on what critics call the biggest contradiction of all, the constant talk about privacy followed by non-stop public appearances. Viewers watched documentary releases, podcast announcements, interviews, and red carpet moments stack up one after another, all while the message remained the same. We want privacy. The contrast felt impossible to ignore. To critics, it looked like someone saying they dislike attention while stepping directly into brighter lights every single time a camera appears. That irony became the centerpiece of Carr's jokes, and the audience reaction was explosive.
Meghan Markle was there, who's a huge celebrity.
Yeah, you guys love suits.
Specifically, Prince Harry loves suits.
Yeah.
He used it like Tinder.
In California, we're just a regular couple living close to Oprah and far from the paparazzi. But not too far.
His humor went darker, sharper, and intentionally uncomfortable, the kind of comedy that makes people laugh and wince at the same time. Carr framed the situation as less of a royal drama and more of a never-ending reality show playing out in public view. Instead of fairy tale romance, he suggested viewers were watching branding, storytelling, and calculated image management unfold episode by episode. The joke wasn't just about Meghan, it was about celebrity culture itself and how personal struggle can transform into entertainment overnight.
Harry and Meghan say they'd now like to split their time between spending your money in the UK and spending your money in Canada.
Then came the comparison that shocked many listeners. Carr referenced Wallis Simpson, the American woman whose relationship with Edward VIII led to one of the biggest royal crises in history. The parallel wasn't presented lightly. It suggested history repeating itself in a modern media age where love stories and power shifts collide under global scrutiny.
All have in common.
Who's the lady in the middle?
What, Wallis Simpson? She's a divorced American lady and she calls the king to abdicate because he wanted to be with her. Do you remember?
So she's like vintage Meghan, old school Meghan.
Yeah, she's American.
That's a great way to describe Wallis Simpson. She's the original Meghan Markle.
Okay.
For some viewers, the comparison felt exaggerated, while others argued it highlighted how personal relationships can reshape institutions overnight. Critics say the timeline that followed only intensified suspicion. Royal departure announcements were quickly followed by high-profile interviews, major streaming agreements, and massive media partnerships. The famous conversation with Oprah Winfrey sparked worldwide debate, and soon afterward came deals with major platforms that turned personal experiences into headline-dominating content. To skeptics, the sequence looked less accidental and more strategically aligned, almost like every step had been planned far in advance.
They made an appeal for their privacy, and they said, we just want everybody to leave them alone.
But we're going to do books and documentaries.
Well, no, they said it at Oprah, and then weirdly nobody left them alone. So they thought, well, okay, we started a Spotify series. So Meghan did her Spotify series, saying, leave me alone, will you stop looking at me? And people kept looking at her. So then they did a book.
You pump.
It's true, he did a book saying, leave me alone, stop giving me all this attention. And that didn't work either. So now they've got a Netflix documentary saying, leave us alone, stop giving us all this attention. It is likely, one assumes, to be an absolute goldmine for Netflix. They're going to make a fortune, because if you remember Howard Stern, the shock jock in the States, there's a famous scene in his movie and in his book Private Parts where they do the original research into him on WNBC, and they say what the research shows is that half of his listeners hate him, and management said all the more reason to get him off, and they said no, they're the ones who listen most. And that's what'll happen with this. People who loathe Harry and Meghan.
What once appeared to be an emotional escape story slowly began to look, in the eyes of critics, like a full-scale business transformation. Instead of leaving royal life behind, they seemed to carry it into a new marketplace where stories, interviews, and personal revelations became valuable currency. The royal chapter didn't end. It evolved into a brand, a product, and a narrative still unfolding in front of millions watching every move with fascination and disbelief.
Fireworks? What? Let's take a look. Yeah. Oh, they want so much privacy.
Down with the monarchy. We deserve our privacy.
Are they really like this?
The public reaction didn't calm down after that. It actually got louder. Every new appearance sparked another round of debate online, and suddenly, everyone felt like a royal expert overnight. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds where supporters defended intentions while critics questioned motives. Some people argued the couple was simply adapting to modern fame, while others believed the entire situation looked carefully calculated from day one. The conversation stopped being just about royalty and started becoming a bigger discussion about celebrity culture itself.
I remember that day in Windsor. It was magical when Harry and Meghan got married, and I remember thinking that the world had finally shifted, that we were moving forward. But now we know that the fairy tale was actually the beginning of a very long and painful nightmare.
What fascinated viewers most was how quickly sympathy shifted into skepticism. At first, many people watched with compassion, believing they were witnessing two individuals trying to build a peaceful life away from pressure. But as projects, interviews, and deals continued rolling out, audiences began asking harder questions. Was this really an escape from public life, or was it a reinvention designed for a global audience hungry for drama?
She can nail every Spotify deal, WME representation she wants. It's never going to fulfill the hole that's inside of her, because there's something wrong with this woman. She dumped her family. Her dad is dying. She won't speak to him. She's ruined another family. It happens to be the royal one. And now they're going to have to sit with the consequences of their own behavior, which is miserable.
The more content appeared, the more curiosity grew, and suddenly the story felt less like a farewell to royalty and more like a brand new chapter built entirely on keeping the spotlight shining bright. According to comedian Jimmy Carr, one of the most explosive criticisms centered on money, specifically how royal resources and public funding were handled before Prince Harry stepped away from official duties. Carr joked that spending appeared effortless, almost casual, as if consequences never entered the conversation. The punchline landed hard because it tapped into a frustration many viewers already felt. Questions about privilege, responsibility, and whether accountability ever truly followed royal status. Online reactions exploded instantly, turning comedy into a viral debate that spread across social media within hours.
They're ridiculous after that. They want it both ways. You know, you can't be, these people were so mean to us, poor us, and we don't want all this attention, and then let me write a book about how much we don't want it.
Carr pushed the commentary further by arguing that Harry had rarely been fully in control of his own direction. First came royal structure, long guided by palace tradition and senior family leadership, including Queen Elizabeth II, whose influence shaped nearly every public move. Then, according to critics, once that structure disappeared, a new guiding force stepped in: Meghan Markle. The comedian framed Harry as someone always surrounded by advisors, managers, and decision-makers, suggesting independence never truly arrived, only a change in who held the steering wheel.
Show me the money!
I have! There is no more money!
I know what you're thinking. Did Netflix cancel 6 series or only 5? You gotta ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do ya? Punk?
Yeah, so lucky, very grateful. I'm batting well above my average. Please stop pointing the gun at me.
The deeper argument wasn't really about personal dislike, at least not for many observers. Supporters and critics alike agreed the backlash came from perceived contradictions rather than pure hostility. Viewers watched interviews, memoir releases, documentaries, and streaming deals roll out one after another, transforming deeply personal struggles into large-scale media projects. Meanwhile, everyday people facing family conflict, mental health challenges, or intense public pressure do so quietly, without global platforms or massive production budgets. That contrast made audiences question why hardship sometimes felt packaged as entertainment rather than private healing.
I mean this sincerely, Prince Harry and Meghan, we don't give a f***. America don't give a f*** about you. We don't care about the royal family.
They got a Netflix
We never
show.
cared about nothing that had to do with y'all. Keep your shows, keep your drama, keep all that nonsense. That's for you British people to fake care about. We do not give a f***. We don't.
Carr's commentary also highlighted how narratives appeared to shift over time. Critics claimed mistakes rarely received direct acknowledgement, while stories evolved depending on the audience and moment. Each new appearance seemed to generate another headline, another discussion, another piece of content feeding a growing media ecosystem. For skeptics, it began to look less like sharing experiences and more like building a continuous storyline designed for streaming audiences watching every twist unfold. Interestingly, the tone changed dramatically when Carr mentioned Prince William.
I watched the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary. Now, I'll be honest with you, before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs. But now I've actually heard their side of the story, I hate them. They started off and they're making interesting points about racism and misogyny. Then they start calling each other H&M, and I just thought, oh, do f*** off.
The joke softened, sarcasm faded, and a different energy entered the conversation. William was described as steady, focused, and committed to responsibility rather than publicity. Supporters often praise him for maintaining a quieter approach, prioritizing duty while avoiding constant personal revelations. The contrast between the brothers became impossible to ignore, shaping public perception in powerful ways. And here's where critics say the irony reaches its peak. The couple publicly asked for privacy, moved continents seeking space, and spoke about wanting distance from relentless attention, yet continued releasing projects that invited the world directly into their lives.
In January, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle announced plans to step back from royal duties and move to America. A term was coined to sum up the event and added to the Collins English Dictionary. What was it?
Oh, I know this one. Is it called rebranding?
No, Chloe. It's called
Megxit.
Oh, maybe I will get the next one right.
Question number 2.
In May, Prince Harry married Meghan Markle at a star-studded wedding in Windsor. Elton John, Tom Hardy and the Beckhams were all there, but can you name 3 American celebrities that attended?
I don't know about the 3 American celebrities that attended, but I definitely know 3 Americans who didn't attend. Meghan's father, mother, and her brother. She didn't invite her own family to the wedding.
Due to technical difficulties and too much reality, we will have to postpone.
For many viewers, the confusion wasn't about watching. It was about being told not to watch while new content kept appearing anyway. The debate continues growing louder, fueled by curiosity, contradiction, and a global audience still trying to figure out which version of the story is the real one. The conversation didn't slow down. It evolved into something bigger than celebrity gossip. Suddenly, people weren't just talking about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle as individuals anymore. They became symbols of a larger clash between tradition and modern fame. Supporters argued they were breaking outdated rules and creating a new path, while critics insisted the entire situation looked like a carefully managed media rollout.
curtsy, the thing she said about medieval times, her lunch with the Queen was like medieval times, which, as you know, is a Disney-type entertainment place for kids. And it's just so horribly disrespectful and just a wine fest.
Every headline added another layer to the story, and the public couldn't decide whether they were watching reinvention or reputation management happening in real time. What really caught attention was how the narrative kept shifting depending on the audience. One moment the focus was healing and independence. The next moment it was blockbuster interviews, best-selling books, and high-profile appearances. Viewers began noticing how quickly emotional moments turned into global talking points. Social media reactions multiplied overnight, creating endless debates about authenticity, privilege, and responsibility. Some people felt inspired by their openness, while others questioned why privacy remained such a central theme when visibility kept increasing. Meanwhile, comparisons with the rest of the British royal family became unavoidable. While senior royals continued public duties with minimal personal commentary, Harry and Meghan's approach leaned heavily into storytelling and personal expression.
And he'll say M and you'll say H and your friends say M and it just is a thing.
It's a thing.
And do you both love it?
Yes, and I like nicknames a lot.
Are you fucking dumb?
That contrast created two completely different visions of royalty, one built on tradition and restraint, the other shaped by modern media and direct communication with the public. Neither approach escaped criticism, but the difference fueled constant discussion about what monarchy even means in a digital age. As weeks turned into months, public fatigue started mixing with fascination. People claimed they were tired of the drama, yet every new interview or announcement still dominated conversations worldwide. Love them or question them, ignore them or analyze every move. The reality remained the same. The story kept growing because audiences kept watching, waiting for the next unexpected twist to drop. After everything that's unfolded, the interviews, the comedy roasts, the royal exits, the media deals, and the non-stop headlines, one thing becomes impossible to ignore.
Oliver, you have generously offered to keep the wax figures of Harry and Meghan safe.
Yeah, that's correct. And if I may, I would just like to say that I'm definitely not using the wax figures for sex.
The story surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle has transformed into one of the most talked about celebrity sagas of modern times. What started as a love story inside the British royal family quickly evolved into a global debate about fame, truth, responsibility, and public image. Supporters still see courage and independence, while critics see contradictions and calculated storytelling. And that clash keeps the conversation alive every single day. Throughout this entire journey, the biggest question hasn't really been about royalty at all. It's been about authenticity. People watched a couple step away from royal duties claiming they wanted peace, distance, and privacy, yet the spotlight never dimmed. Instead, documentaries appeared, podcasts launched, memoirs dropped, and interviews dominated headlines across continents. To many observers, it no longer looks like running from attention, but learning how to control it better than ever before.
If you had lunch with Meghan Markle, you'd be stunned at how dumb she was. Not because she's black, because I wouldn't think she was black if I looked at her, because she's an actress who was on the show Suits.
The spotlight didn't chase them. Critics argue they learned how to book it, schedule it, and shape it on their own terms. Comedian Jimmy Carr became one of the loudest voices calling out these contradictions, using humor to say what many viewers had been quietly thinking. His jokes landed because they tapped into growing public fatigue. Not necessarily anger, but exhaustion from hearing the same grievances repeated while massive media deals continued rolling in. Comedy has always worked best when it reflects public mood. And in this case, laughter mixed with disbelief created a moment people couldn't stop sharing online. Meanwhile, comparisons with senior royals like Prince William intensified the contrast. One side appears focused on duty and tradition, keeping personal struggles mostly private, while the other embraces open storytelling and direct engagement with audiences worldwide.
What can Harry do?
He doesn't get security anymore. He has to pay for security. He has to buy his house. He has to mind the kids.
Do you know what Harry did for a while? Do you know what William used to do? William used to fly Coast Guard helicopters. Put on a little helmet, put on goggles. Nobody knew who he was, flew a helicopter. There's nothing stopping Harry getting a job flying helicopters in LA. He could fly a traffic report helicopter every morning.
Now go away.
I'm so silly.
I'm so silly.
Getting a job like the rest of us.
Because the paparazzi are never going to leave them alone.
Because they keep going up to the paparazzi and saying, hello, leave me alone.
Leave them alone.
That difference fuels endless arguments about what modern royalty should look like in a world ruled by streaming platforms, social media reactions, and viral moments. The monarchy itself hasn't changed overnight, but the way the public consumes royal stories absolutely has. At this point, many critics believe the narrative has shifted completely. Instead of escaping fame, Harry and Meghan seem deeply embedded within it, navigating celebrity culture rather than leaving it behind. The victim narrative that once drew sympathy now faces heavier scrutiny as audiences question whether the line between personal truth and public branding has blurred beyond recognition. Whether people support them or challenge them, one fact remains clear. The world is still watching, still debating, and still reacting every time a new chapter unfolds. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the criticism is fair, or has the public gone too far? Share your thoughts below and join the discussion because this conversation is far from over. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like so more people can join the debate, and tell me what you think about everything that's happened so far. And don't forget to subscribe to Crown Clash, because every single day there's a brand new video breaking down the latest royal drama, celebrity controversies, and headline moments you won't want to miss.